lot of nuts!
Sad news today, hyenas. It has been confirmed that Chris Tucker has been seen in the Epstein files, which means, more than likely, we're never gonna get a Rush Hour 4. I just want to hear Jackie Chan say the N-word one more time. Just one more time for the sake of my childhood favorite movie. Jackie, please!
What's up, my
friend? All right, enough dilly-dallying. They finally released the Epstein files. Let's take a look at everybody who I refuse to support anymore on the grounds of pedophilia. And it's all redacted. Great. So that's basically the entire story that's going on with this most recent release of a bunch of files from the Epstein files. Now, let's not completely overstate the significance of this. There are some files released that have some notable celebrities and prominent political figures such as Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson, Chris Tucker. I think Oprah was in the files. Take a look at them for yourselves while they're still readily available on PBS and a few other websites that are posting them. But the big meme that's going around currently is just how many of these files have been redacted. There's an age-old Onion article that states something along the lines of the CIA has been mistakenly using black highlighters when releasing files for people to take a look at. And it's because of situations like this, where they want to technically release the files for public viewing in order to show transparency in whatever major criminal case they're investigating, but they don't want to release all the information, and so they redact it by covering things up with black boxes, which ironically goes hand in hand with a lot of memes in which we use black boxes to sort of block out words to turn a meme into a completely other meme. So that's what we're doing today. You guys might be familiar with the following meme, or some variation of it, some sort of meme that's just a tad bit text heavy, has some sort of label or caption to it, that people will then block out in order to turn the sentence into another sentence. For instance, this meme from Invincible, in which I believe his name is Omni-Man, says, take a look at what they need in order to replicate a fraction of our power, or whatever the quote is, but instead gets blocked out to just say, look at the cow, moo. Now, this is what we call an anti-meme, a meme that takes a meme and then turns it into something that's just barely a joke, arguably not even a joke, and making the joke the absurdity of the lack of a punchline that this meme has. However, this has drawn a lot of attention online, as this image was posted to a major shit-posting Twitter account just the other day, and now people are comparing this to the similarities of which it feels like the recent release of the Epstein files, because the better part of like the first 100 fucking pages are just giant black squares because of the extent to which they redacted the information. Like, it almost feels like a slap in the face. Yeah, we released the Epstein files. Are you happy now? I would argue you fucking didn't. Here's an example of a meme that was posted before the Epstein files were actually released. This is by @StupidHeadYH on Twitter. That basically, you know, with Donald Trump being the current president of the United States, you can imagine that either the CIA, the Department of Justice, or perhaps, I don't know, let's go with a crazy third organization, PETA, right, would probably do their best in order to redact anything from the current sitting president of the United States from being named in these files. They haven't done a great job. There have been very obvious pictures of Donald Trump in these files that are actively being redacted, and it's making headline news at the moment. But the joke is that they're going to redact everything and then only leave Democratic previous presidents or people on that political side of the party. So as an example, Bill Clinton, Obama, Bill Clinton, several paragraphs of black squares, Bill Clinton, Bill Clinton. You might be wondering why it says genitals were obliterated at the bottom of this one. Seems like a funny random, right? It's actually from a Reddit post from like 5 years ago, making fun of people making SCP pre-writes that aren't very interesting. Lazy SCP writers be like, SCP is a blank, a ton of whoever gives a fuck, it's nothing but fluff, foundational staff, Among Us, genitals were obliterated, new comments can no longer be posted, and votes cannot be cast. What a day it is for anybody watching this. Unironically, this turned out to be exactly as how the Epstein files were released. Damn near anything of any substance other than a bunch of photos that I'm sure you've seen all over your timeline as more and more news publications start to post the ones that have any sort of interesting story or importance to them. But the vast majority of anything that's been written in these things is just marked out with black highlighter. Some of my favorite examples making fun of this is, of course, this scene from Home Alone 1, 2. Can you guys remind me? I think it's the first one, right? Where I have no idea who this could possibly be because he's been redacted. But damn, look at him go. Classic. Classic. You guys remember this meme? I did a whole video talking about this meme. Hey, I like your blank t-shirt. Hey, I like your Epstein Files t-shirt. This could be solid merch. If I knew what the fuck I was doing, I would make an Epstein Files t-shirt that says nothing and is just black. And then I could just buy blanks and sell them at a giant profit. Why do I not do the things that I'm joking about? This one's kind of funny, but I feel like has been going under the radar. If you guys remember when Donald Trump was shot, he was wearing like a white bandage over his ear because he got shot in the ear. And then at a rally that Donald Trump was doing like the following week or whatever, a bunch of people were wearing a white bandage on their ear in like solidarity of Donald Trump wearing the white bandage. And so now, what if everybody just started wearing the redacted? I could see, God, I have so many good ideas for merch in this video. I'm gonna be a trillionaire and then become a Republican. Oh my God, it's win-win. There's another picture of Chris Tucker, and he's doing a classic Chris Tucker pose. In the released Epstein files, you couldn't even black out his face? Oh, we're never getting Rush Hour 4. You know, maybe if we look really hard, like maybe they didn't complete, hold on. Maybe, perhaps, okay, Exhibit F. No, I'm not. God, I wish I had Superman's powers. Maybe I could read this. There it is. There it is. Daryl Truman. I knew that guy was in the files, and it's clear as day. Daryl Truman. look at this one on the side. It's a giraffe. Has anybody considered that maybe the Epstein files were just written like that? You know what I mean? Like, maybe Jeffrey Epstein just loved big black lines through all of his pages. When I was a kid, nope, that's a weird way to start a sentence when talking about Jeffrey Epstein. I'm just saying we shouldn't rule it out while we're doing some of the dumbest shit imaginable regarding the files. That's all I'm saying. Dude, this black square thing is insane. One of the photos that's got these redacted black squares has Bill Clinton with Michael Jackson, and then they're black squaring out a couple of children that are in this. And then like the unredacted version reveals that it's Michael Jackson and Diana Ross's own kids after a DNC convention that they performed at. You did such a bad job at redacting information from the world's biggest collection of files from Jeffrey Epstein that you've actually exonerated Michael Jackson from being implicated in them. Do you understand how ass backwards that is? That's nuts. Who could this be? Pretty sure I recognize that rack, but a lot of it's redacted. This must be a nobody. I don't know. I have no clue. You know, sometimes I wonder how people make memes. You know, like obviously I understand the basic fundamental outline, add color, trace an image of somebody already existing. But this sort of thing feels like it takes dedicated effort. Look at the artistic decision to orange up the guy and make him naked, presumably in an effort to try to portray Donald Trump as ludicrously as possible. But then the artistic design to use a cropped photo of his actual hair is just like, what was the artist trying to say with this shit post, you know? And then he doesn't even use like an MS Paint blocked. This is an actual image of one of the redacted pages from the Epstein file. So there's like quality there, and then sort of like shit posty, whimsical, oh, who cares with the cropping of the hair. There's like some thought went into this, but like not enough to be cohesive. It's magic. No! Come on! Anybody but my goat! No! Sheik Epstein. Sheik Epstein. I mean, listen, the most horrible man to ever live since Hitler? Yeah, sure, probably, but I don't know, something about seeing him in a costume is kind of goofy, you know? Oh, wow, the White House is taking the Taylor Swift approach and releasing multiple deluxe album versions of the Epstein files so that you can collect all of them. I wonder if the cumulative sales are going to be enough to top, I don't know, Juice WRLD's last album. I don't know where I'm going with this joke. One step forward, two steps back. Are we ever truly going to find the lengths of everybody who was involved in Jeffrey Epstein's case? Only time will tell. But there's one thing I can guarantee you, no matter how many of these files get properly released, you sure as shit are not going to find your boy SumitoMedia or any other hyena in those files, and that's a guarantee. I cannot speak on behalf of every hyena. I have not met you guys personally. That being said, if you want more videos from me, remember to subscribe. A like helps the video a ton, and I will catch you guys on the next time. Epstein!